folks, welcome to another Kdog Goes to the Movies. Man, this has just been a crazy week, especially this weekend. Of course, this is the week before Thanksgiving, okay? It's a madhouse. It just amazes me how mad people go when they go to the grocery store. And so I went to the nearest, I'm not going to mention the name of them, but a big store chain. And, man, there was this people pushing and pushing and shoving. And this is not even Black Friday, folks. This was just the weekend before Thanksgiving. You know, people are stocking up on, because they're having company come over and whatnot. And, man, and plus, what does not help is that the fact that here in Indiana we have winter weathers that just happen to come upon us with a little bit of snow and some a little bit of ice, not a lot, but it was just cold, wet, rainy, and so you know anytime that we see or hear like the threat of a winter storm, it's like we have a freaking meltdown, and we gotta go pile on, for the eggs and the milk and the bread. A friend of mine, he actually said this one time. He said, "I don't understand whenever we have a winter advisory like that the first thing they grab is the milk, the eggs, and the bread." I guess a lot of people are going to be making omelets. But anyway, speaking of wild behavior, tonight we're going to take a look back into the year 1995. This was 2 years after Jurassic Park had hit the screen, and so filmmakers and studios were wondering, what else can we do with this new technology called CGI? And so 1995 brought us Jumanji, the original, with Robin Williams. Yes, the original Jumanji. Of course, this is currently being rebooted. They've already done the first film. They're doing a sequel to it, because apparently the first one did so well and is enjoyable. But you cannot beat the original movie with Robin Williams, Bonnie Hunt, and a young Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, a early teenage Kirsten Dunst, probably around 12, 13 years old in this flick. So, gather family around, because we're going to play Jumanji. Yes, from 1995, from Tristar Pictures, I believe. Yes. So, let's roll film. Jumanji. So that was 1995's Jumanji. Yeah, and they all escape and live happily ever after playing the game till it is completed. It was the one rule of the game, is that you had to complete it and everything would be back to normal. And of course, this was 1995, okay? This was 2 years after Jurassic Park. And so you can definitely tell that this was a project that had been sitting on the shelf for quite some time and then eventually picked up because of Jurassic Park. There was no other way to do it except for the way that the 90s could do, because by that time special effects had caught up. CGI had become a new staple in visual effects. And this movie, I've forgotten, that this was actually a movie that had, quite some, a lot of good supporting cast. And David Allen Greer. I keep forgetting he's in the movie as the cop who once worked for Robin Williams' character's dad. BB Newirth playing the aunt, and yeah, just this is just an overall fun, entertaining movie. Now, I think yeah, it dates a little bit because who plays board games anymore? That's why Sony ended up rebooting the series and making it about video games. And so, uh, yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of the newer ones, but I don't think you can. I don't think you can I don't think you can just dismiss the one that Robin Williams was in. You know, this original one. And another thing that's really interesting is that this was based on a storybook written by the same guy who did the Polar Express. So you say Polar Express, Jumanji, and it's like night and day. Just once this movie starts, it just never stops going. It's just a fun roller coaster ride for the family, and of course, it does have a little bit of frightening moments in there. You know, like giant lions, crocodiles, things that's coming to get you, literally. And yeah, it's just a wonderful movie. I just think, you know, I wish we would go back to this type of movies, but you know, it was the 90s. It was a period of the 90s, and at that time they were trying to figure out, okay, Jurassic Park came out and it did this. Now, what can we do that's like that? And that was, you know, a cash in to Jurassic Park. As a matter of fact, Joe Johnston, the director of Jumanji, went on to direct Jurassic Park 3 in 2001. He had asked Steven Spielberg to direct the sequel to Jurassic Park, and Spielberg rejected him and saying that if there was going to be a sequel to Jurassic Park, I'm going to direct it. And so Joe Johnston immediately started looking for other material that he could do. And so yeah, and it's not a waste of time. It's not a waste. They spared no expense of bringing this story to the screen. I mean, you have Robin Williams, you have Bonnie Hunt as the two leads. Kristen Dunst, who plays Judy. Bradley Pierce, you don't hear too much about him. The only thing I know that he did other than Jumanji was he was the voice of Chip in Beauty and the Beast. Country music singer Laura Bell Bundy plays the younger character of Bonnie Hunt. Her character Sarah. Yeah. Yeah. Just you know, just and of course they, like I said, they did not spare the expense and the visual effects as well. I mean, Industrial Light and Magic is some of their best work, and it kind of gets overshadowed, you know, by Jurassic Park, but there was a lot of innovation that was done with Jumanji, believe it or not. This was the first movie to ever actually use CGI hair. Yeah, so while Jurassic Park was doing skin tone, Jumanji was doing CGI hair, and it was the same people working on it. But yeah, that is Jumanji, the original, 1995. Boy, it brings back some memories. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to talk about next. I do know this. We're going to go into the Christmas holidays. Yeah, so I got a little something up my sleeve. We're probably going to marathon some things. But, Yeah, that'll be coming up very, very shortly, so do stay tuned for that. So, from me to you, see you later.